This is the Len Amsterdam radio show from Canada. We'd just like to thank our good friends at acmenoise.com for providing the excellent hosting and streaming services. acmenoise.com, freedom for music lovers.
Space and time, break out your guard and blow your mind.
Come on, leave your head, yeah, float downstream in my sweet dream. A place where no walks and all this rock that breaks through the night. One sweet dream, one sweet dream, one sweet dream.
Transcendental space and time, break out your guard and blow your mind. It's just there, flying around, smoking caterpillars, making crazy sounds. She had slides, joinable stage, she was good and choices. Help me.
Glowing karma in the leaves. See your future in your mind. Pour a cup of magic tea. Turquoise skies, spirit flies. Slippery and clean. Hold your fortune intertwined. As intently watch it scream. In disguise, no good life. No good life. No good life.
He'll record you, and you're going to be a internet star elsewhere, okay? He's actually going to record live off the show. Is that cool or what, folks? This is cool.
Life Before Us, a Canadian docu-fiction on the lives of the Dunbar family during the Second World War, written by Rupert Payne and Johnny Cannister, narration Rob Stevens. The news spread quickly, and all were heartbroken to hear of the death of Cadet Dunbar in a pilot training accident at the Bowmanville Airport. Cadet Dunbar had been particularly eager to serve his country in the war effort, and his legacy would be the source of pride for the Dunbar family for generations. Agent X was immediately brought in to investigate what appeared to be a very suspicious death of Cadet Dunbar. Cadet Dunbar's younger sister Myrtle would take the news particularly hard, and would never mention the incident again to avoid the pain from losing a brother that she loved so dearly in such a horrific manner. Colonel D. Dunbar was out on the town with his horse Whiskey when the tragedy occurred. The colonel was a dam buster during the First World War, and he was an inspiration for Cadet Dunbar wanting to join the service. Swig Scott, Myrtle Dunbar, Vivian Lee, Cors Molson, and Plain Jane would gather 1 week to the day after the plane crash to spread the ashes of Cadet Dunbar on Fraser Lake. There were many tears shed, but everybody spoke of the good times, too, with personal memories of their fallen war hero. Life Before Us, a Canadian docufiction on the lives of the Dunbar family during the Second World War, written by Rupert Payne and Johnny Connickster, narrated by Rob Stevens. Episode 2. Now the prime suspect in the murder of Cadet Dunbar was the Romanian. This simple Ed, low-level thug, had spent time in Alcatraz before escaping to Canada. The word on the street is that the Romanian had drained the gas on Cadet Dunbar's trainer in retaliation for unpaid prostitute and gambling debts. Now, Cadet Dunbar was no choir boy and liked to party hard. He was known to take big losses betting on the pony races. Our war hero was also very sweet on one painted lady called Slutsy O'Connor, who was part of the Romanian stable of call girls. Cadet Dunbar always paid his debts, so his demise was not likely over money, but over the affections of a girl. The Dunbar family lived at 10 Coxwell Avenue in Toronto. James Dunbar was the head of the household. Mr. Dunbar supported his family as a milkman for the Bell's Dairy Company, and it was James who serviced the Beaches area community with his familiar big red milk truck. The highlight of the Dunbar family of the week was Sunday dinners. Friends and relatives would often attend and pose for pictures and partake in the friendly game of croquet, a board game which needed some skill for taking out the opponents with a flick of a middle finger against a wooden puck. The family dog Poker would entertain the little children for hours. Poker would do these amazing dog tricks for scraps from the lavish dinners prepared by Aunt Mabel and Mother Hazel. That concludes episode 2 of Life Before Us. Life Before Us, episode 3. Robbie O'Connor Dunbar was born at the Scarborough General Hospital, arriving into this world 9 months and 1 day after the plane tragedy that killed his daddy, Cadet Dunbar. The mother would try to keep the identity of the father a secret, but many would gossip and the truth would eventually come to light. Plain Jane was the queen of gossip, and there were no Dunbar family secrets that she did not know or would eventually find out about. Plain Jane was a Scarborough General for her candy striping duties when by chance she sees a young Robbie in the maternity ward. She knew instantly who had fathered Miss O'Connor's bouncing baby bad boy. She asked her confidant,
"Can you keep a secret?"
And Shirley says,
"My lips sealed."
Robbie O'Connor Dunbar, or Rod for short, would grow up to become a devilishly handsome young man who loved to fish. Rod was known for playing practical jokes on everybody he would ever meet.
"I caught a darn big catfish down Cottage Creek, big as a man it was, huge. Nearly chawed my arm off it did, hooked it on moonshine and bully beef."
Robbie O'Connor Dunbar was the spitting image of his great-grandfather, Colonel B. Dunbar.
"I'm working on getting a new coat from out of my beard. It's getting that long. Should stay me for the winter. It's damn near bulletproof, it's that wiry."
Rod's best practical joke was when he convinced the Prime Minister of Canada that he was the head of the Canadian Navy, and that the Canadian naval forces could get their new ships for the war effort to their European destinations faster by sailing over Niagara Falls. The Prime Minister took the advice, resulting in extending the length of the Second Great War. Agent X was extremely pissed. Several assassination attempts were made on the life of Robbie O'Connor Dunbar. It was episode 3 of The Life Before Us. Written by Rupert Payne and Johnny Connoxter. Narrated by Rob Stevens.
This is the Len Amsterdam radio show, broadcast from Canada. Subway Musicians is part of the Pepper Scott Internet Television Archives.
Now I know you're all snapping your fingers and whistling on your ride in to work. However, riders of the subway system have a little bit easier with their own built-in jukebox. Let's check it out.
What's the name of the band? Name of band, just Andre.
The diversity of the lifestyles and traditions that exist in our city are reflected in the music that echoes throughout the subway tunnels. All styles of world music are represented, showcasing a colorful mosaic of cultures. Only licensed musicians are allowed to busk or sell their musical product to the traveling public. The locations they play are determined by a rotating schedule issued by the Subway Authority. Some locations can be real gold mines, others are not. It takes real dedication and hard work to realize a living as a subway musician. Is this a full-time gig?
Yes, that's how I make my living.
Allocations down here, 75 subway musicians, either singles or duos, and I think there are some 200 auditions that are granted every year, so even to get an audition is a rather difficult thing, and then to win it, of course, is an honor. So yeah, we're pleased to be able to play down here, and I think for the most part it's just great to be able to play. A lot of people don't have a chance to play every day like we do, and that's a great thing. I see trees of green, red roses too, I see them blue in me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue.
Well, you audition down at the exhibition in August, and you get the license in October.
And what does that cost for a license?
$100.
The dogs, they should be paying you guys to play here for the entertainment, I think.
And there's a weepy old willow, he really knows how to cry. That's how I cry in my pillow, if you should tell me farewell and goodbye.
I play in the subway because there simply are not enough gigs to keep you going. Without doing this, then beats having a job.
women?
Christmases ago, I got an entire frozen turkey thrown in the case. 10 pounds of potatoes one time, beer that had given to me.
How much beer?
Oh, usually just bottles of beer. Like if someone just comes by and puts a bottle of beer, which of course I never drink on TTC property. It's strictly forbidden.
We played fiddle tunes and folk songs in a wide range of from Celtic to East Coast to Southern American to Ontario songs and fiddle tunes.
Now, wasn't that special? Next time, remember to leave some change in the guitar case. For Mosaic Magazine, I'm Jay Tubac.
Hey, this is Len Amsterdam from Canada, and here's a note I'd like to share with you from Eddie and Shirley. The note is in reference to a Battle of the Bands matchup with Johnny Proctor and Eddie and Shirley. Thanks for putting us on, Len. We love Johnny's music and think that it was a very appropriate choice. Johnny said you were a master at promoting and wasn't wrong. You have a very good ear for matching up the right artists. We were actually quite humbled. Well, it seems some of those old cliches are right, and the one that you draw more flies with honey is certainly true. And on the basis of this note, you can look for plenty of Eddie and Shirley on the Len Amsterdam Show.